But then beyond this, he's able to go walk to like the bomb defusal area if he wants to. Like that's really awesome. I haven't heard a lot of people like comment on this, but keeping the world like fluid like that is really insane for just like the game itself to kind of create this universe that you feel like you belong to. So I was chilling in this Discord call, right? Yesterday, I was chilling in a Discord call in the Valorant Pro Discord with like 20 people, and it was really cool because they were going through every little bit of information in this video, and they were they're picking out every single little thing. So they were talking about how will this gun one shot headshot that's going to change the game if it doesn't. Can you ADS with this one gun? Why are these two guns the same price? You have the Phantom and the Vandal. Why are they both 2,900? We could talk about that. There's all these like little things that I think were super cool that you could talk about. I wanted to talk about something that I don't think a lot of other people touched on in any of the videos that I've seen that I think is actually like a really big deal, and it kind of foreshadows what's going to be going on with the game in the future. So we're going to get into that, and that'll begin once he actually loads into one of these maps. So let's see if I can unpause it here. Can I unpause? Hello? Okay, sweet. It's rolling. So the guy goes into the practice area, right? He loads in eventually. It's in a different language, so we have the audio muted. I don't actually know what he's saying. If you speak, I don't know if it's Czech, his Czech language. I don't know. But he loads into the game. Game looks really good, as you can tell. I like the graphics and stuff here. I don't know if I necessarily like the character models here. I think those could use some work. But aside from that, like it's looking good. It's looking clean. It looks very similar to Counter-Strike. Different art style. A little bit more of like an Overwatch art style, but that's like really cool. That's not the point I wanted to point out here, though. You see, the player starts running around right here, right? And he was able to select between 4 different training areas to start. He could have chosen the practice range. He could have chosen the bomb defusal area. But he can walk between any of those areas, which is like really cool, right? He can jump off the edge if he wants to. He has this whole area to like move around. You can shoot these targets. You'll see he goes to the firing range over here somewhere. He goes to this firing range. He walks in, picks up his gun. He's able to like shoot these things and start his aim sensitivity, like aiming at the targets. I think that this is really cool. But then beyond this, he's able to go walk to like the bomb defusal area if he wants to. Like that's really awesome. I haven't heard a lot of people like comment on this, but keeping the world like fluid like that is really insane for just like the game itself to kind of create this universe that you feel like you belong to. In CS, if you're going to play a game like Counter-Strike and you want to go to these practice maps exist. This isn't anything new for an FPS game. If you wanted to play Counter-Strike and you wanted to practice your aim, you can load into an aim trainer that looks exactly like this. You can shoot people in the head, and then you can load into a like bomb defusal round. I've been doing this thing called training situation where it just sends like 5 bots at you, and you have to kind of kill the bots in like the locations that they're coming, and it just keeps refreshing the round. There are ways to practice like this in Counter-Strike. This isn't anything new. However, the fluidity of it is something that is not done in Counter-Strike. If I want to go to a new map, I have to load out and go into a new map, which is like, it's such a minor thing, but I think it's a big deal. Being able to do this and create a universe. Imagine if I could have one of my friends come into the same area with me and like do this practice modes. I could chill in one of these lobbies for like literally an hour, 2 hours with my buddies, just like shooting things and doing like practicing bomb defusals and stuff like that. Imagine you could set up like a 2v5 site retake with one of your buddies where they're playing like Sova and I'm playing Phoenix, and Sova gives me the intel and I'm able to run in. And I know it's just against bots, but maybe you can like hype up the bots to make them a little bit better. I don't know. There's just so many different things that you can do with this. And I think that's really awesome. It just got me thinking all of the things about this that Counter-Strike just can't do. If they tried to set this up, I don't think they could. And I think that you see a similar thing in Fortnite with the custom maps in Fortnite. I didn't play a lot of Fortnite, but I know that we have a couple people in chat who did. It seems like they did set this up with custom maps, right? Where you can load in with your friends into a custom map and you can practice your building, or you can practice your 1v1s or whatever and just go after your friends. And you can meet them in a location where you run around, and it's not the same battle royale. You're not just queuing into the same game over and over and over again. It just adds a little bit more personality to the game. And I think that's like really freaking cool. I really like this a lot. And it just got me thinking, like, so in Valorant, right? It's very easy for me as a player to connect with one of the characters that I'm playing. It's very easy for me to put myself into the world because, thank you for the follow there, Chris, by the way. It's very easy for me to put myself into the world because I can pick a character that I like relate to. And like I could play them, somebody who feels like they fit my personality, right? So if I'm a super aggressive player, I'm a little antsy, I like to get in there, I can play a character like Phoenix or Jet, and those characters are really gonna vibe with me. It's really gonna feel like I'm playing a character that like connects with me, right? And it sounds a little cheesy, but like or if I'm a passive player, for example, I could play a character like Cypher or Sova, and I like can methodically use my drones to like get information and relay it to my team, and I can feel good in that regard. And I think that's like super cool. But then in a game like Counter-Strike, they still have like support, or they still have like entry fragger and stuff like that, which are roles. But like or you're like your opper, it's less obvious to the average player, right? When I started playing Counter-Strike, I don't think I realized that there was like a designated opera. That's something I had to learn. And I don't think that I realized that there was like a support player who like generally like he bought the nades, so like he was like flashing his teammates in and stuff like that. I didn't realize that immediately. And although like maybe you pick it up eventually if you play enough CS, I feel like not being able to connect with the game in that way is like a big issue for the game with bringing in new players. It just doesn't feel like as appealing. When I start playing Valorant, I can pick a character and I can identify with that character. I think that's super cool. When I start playing Counter-Strike, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy among the team. And although that might appeal to some people, I don't think that appeals to everybody. This is just something that I feel like CS did very poorly over the years. Like building a world. It doesn't seem like CS at this point is able to build. There's no story to the game. The game has been out for years. And like even when the game has changed, people get really upset with it, right? So you see things like the SG being brought into play. They buff the SG so that it can be used. And people are upset because you can use the SG now over using the AK. That's an option for you. Like it's not a terrible choice to run the SG anymore. Or like things like the character skins. When they added the character skins, some people say that this is the worst addition that they have ever seen added to CSGO. Like people are very upset about this. And there's all these like little things that I'm just like, CS can't change. This is why I think if there is a game to kill CS, it's going to be Valorant. And I don't think it's unlikely that when Valorant is released, you see one of the largest drop-offs in esports history. CSGO is at its peak right now. It is at its number one point in its entire career. Imagine Valorant's release and CSGO just tanks. Obviously, there's always going to be people playing CS. There's always going to be people playing the game. There's still people playing StarCraft, for example. And StarCraft 2 was a game that's very like dear to my heart, which is why I think about this so much and think about how it's possible. If you get a game like StarCraft, where it was so prominent for a while, I'm just going to refresh on the gameplay so you guys can keep watching it. If you get a game like StarCraft where it's so prominent for a while, and then it just falls off, and now it's like, what is it chilling at right now? What is the average viewership on StarCraft? It's incredibly low. This is a game that was like a massive thing in my childhood, and it wasn't killed by a different RTS game, but it was kind of killed by the MOBA genre, a lot of people argue. And it's just like, people say that CSGO can't be killed, and I've said this for a while. If you asked me previously, like a week ago, on my opinion of if this will kill CSGO, my response was, no, it's not going to kill CSGO. There's always going to be people who play it. But like the more I think about it, how long is CSGO going to persist? Because it either persists forever or it doesn't, and it dies eventually for some reason or another. Maybe it kills itself, or maybe a game comes along and kills it. CSGO it's not able to change, and Valorant has all of that room to do so. So if you bring in a game with 128 tick servers, all these characters, and it has a story to it, it has a world built around it. Literally, it has better anti-cheat. It has 100 developers as compared to CSGO's 5 developers that somebody was just telling me about. Do they really have 5 developers? I don't know. It seems like the odds are definitely stacked against Counter-Strike in this regard. So I know a lot of people want to defend the game. I'm not a hater for Counter-Strike. Just for the record, I really like Counter-Strike. I have 1,000 hours in the game. I think it's a really solid game. And I mean, like, I know that I'm saying because it can't change, that's what's going to kill it in the end. I don't want to say just because a game can't change, it's not going to survive. Look at a game like chess, for example. Chess has been around for like literally over 1,000 years, and it still exists. People still play it today. Just because it can't change doesn't mean that it's not going to persist. But how long before people get bored of the game? It's possible. And we've never seen it with an FPS game. But maybe the reason that Counter-Strike has succeeded for all these years is just because it didn't really have a real competitor. I know that you get games like Crossfire, for example, which is very prominent in Asia. But like as far as the NA audience goes, maybe this is the one that just takes it out. It's very possible. Let me know. I could entirely be wrong on this, though. If people are watching this on YouTube, I'll probably upload this rant to YouTube. Feel free to leave in the comments below what you think of what's going to happen with Counter-Strike. Do you think it's going to be killed by this? Do you not? I don't know. I was leaning more towards it would not be killed, but at this point, I would not be surprised if you see one of the largest drop-offs in esports history. But aside from that, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so below. Freaking join our Discord. We got so many cool people in there. You see some of them right in the chat right here. They're awesome people. I freaking love you all. And yeah. Valorant will have a large player base at the start, and then the ones that don't like it will return back to CSGO. You think so? You don't think that they stay? The problem that gets me, right? The people who have played Valorant, who also played Counter-Strike, they said that It is the one of the best games they have ever played. It is a gym. Shroud referred to it as. Sorry. Shroud referred to it as a gym. That's a big deal. That's nothing to like literally throw away. You take a game that is 10 years later. So a Global Offensive came out in 2012, right? Valorant's coming out now, 2020, 8 years later. It's just going to be a better game. It might not be better competitively, but as far as development goes, it's going to run better. It's going to have better tick rate. It's going to have better anti-cheat. It's going to have probably better bullet detection. I don't know. In every way that this game could possibly be better, it is going to be better than Counter-Strike. It's just a question of is it more competitive? Like does it provide the same feeling to a competitive player? And I don't know, dude. After being like a League of Legends fan for the longest time, playing League of Legends for so long, it's hard to say that if this game is going to be better in almost all of these ways, how could CSGO really compete with it at this point? Because they're not allowed to change. Like we talked about before, the people are not receptive to change. The fans of Counter-Strike do not like change for the game. So if you can't change the game and you can't compete with a game that's just going to be better, what do? I guess you release a new game, like you guys said, but I don't know. That's just my take on it. It's going to have devs that actually care about the game. There's another one. Devs who are listening. It has 100 developers. 100 devs on the game as compared to the 5 from CSGO that people are saying. That I don't know how you compete with this. What do you do about this?